purposes of this video, we're calling it GIS, Geographical Information Systems, and what that really is the collision point between geography and computer science. Fundamentally, it's all about understanding places and how we as humans use them. If we think about GIS skills as being a bit like the various steps involved in baking a cake, there are many, from concept through to consumption, that are all crucial. First and foremost, a tasty cake requires well-produced, easily accessible, and affordable ingredients. Similarly, good use of GIS requires good data for the very same considerations. There will always be a need for dedicated and skilled people to take responsibility for creating good data using GIS that is both easy to find, access, and use. And this often takes considerable but often overlooked resources throughout the data supply chain. Secondly, a good cake usually requires a decent recipe and a skilled cook who has the right equipment and knowledge to turn the massive ingredients into something far more appealing. Similarly, a good GIS output needs skilled people who know how to use software, coding, and applications in an effective way to turn raw data into something far more useful and effective for understanding an issue or phenomena. Finally, an appealing cake will often be decorated and presented in a certain way to make it more appealing to someone wanting to buy or eat it. In the same way, many GIS outputs will be turned into visualizations like maps or interactive applications that are intended to make them more understandable, engaging, and effective for an audience or consumers. If you consider the unarguable fact that everything happens somewhere and can now be measured or documented, you begin to realize that GIS could be fundamental to most organizations. And we now have much more data and powerful technology at our fingertips to help us meet our objectives. Most people won't know that GIS has for many years been addressing and finding solutions to some of the big issues that arise when masses of people need to be able to find, access, and use data resources effectively. This is mainly because we've been forced to by things like legislation, commercialization, and necessity. So there is much that can be learnt from the GIS world. The past few years have shown us that we need to be able to easily use data to create the evidence for making better decisions in the face of a worldwide crisis. GIS has been fundamental to those efforts, from understanding how a disease spreads through our communities to making crucial decisions about the places we live in that can help save lives. However, as the use and the importance of GIS is increasing, the numbers of skilled and experienced professionals is not keeping pace, and some sectors and companies are beginning to struggle to recruit capable staff in what is becoming an increasingly competitive marketplace. So there are definitely many opportunities out there for anyone willing to learn the skills and knowledge, and it's really not that difficult, especially if you already have some background in data and/or digital. GIS can be used in some way by most organizations, especially where those organizations need to understand why things happen or occur differently in different places. Some key examples are the worlds of retail, economics, planning, emergency services, health, and environmental science. But one of the beauties of GIS is that it often cuts across multiple industries and topic areas, because GIS is the art of overlaying and linking data from multiple areas to help investigate and answer key questions. Perhaps the best way to utilize this skill and capability in the world of work is to show senior leaders and decision makers how a GIS analysis or visualization uncovers a hidden pattern or truth that can be acted upon to improve a certain outcome, and that can really become quite exciting, shaping our lives and places for the better. There are many options out there for learning GIS, but it all depends on how much time you have on your hands, how you like to learn, and what you hope to achieve. GIS is now taught in all geography-related degrees, and several unis now have specialist courses. GIS software companies and freelancers also run their own training courses. If you like to go at your own pace, there are companies that provide online training modules for you to dip in and out of, as well as numerous free tutorials on YouTube. The most obvious place to start would be to learn how to use the standard desktop GIS software like ArcGIS or QGIS. These tools introduce everyone to the basic fundamentals of GIS and allow them to start quickly creating interesting and useful outputs. If you are more interested in how to use GIS to engage an audience or enable better decision making, there are numerous online GIS platforms that help to take GIS outputs to the masses over the internet. For the more confident data or developer expert, coding languages like Python and R and various geolibraries can be utilized to carry out most GIS functions also. Then there is all the knowledge about how to go about creating good quality GIS data and how to use standards to make geospatial data more usable and fit for multiple purposes. Whatever your interest, GIS has something for most.